Greetings, I'm Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator, with the first few rounds of Container. While I do have the expansion stuff, I'm not going to feature the expansion stuff for this. I'm just going to keep it to this simple game. In addition to playing the game with only 4 players, we're playing the... Where we go? The short length game, so that there's only 11 of each color of containers between the supply, the starting container and factory, and the offshore auction. Yeah. Alright. So, to keep track of first player, or current player, I'm going to use this little coin I got from a trip to New Zealand today. I'll keep track of what action we're on and all that. So how might a game of this go for the starting point? Well, let's say this player here decides to double check. Build the an additional warehouse. So I'm going to throw $4 out there and expand our storage capacity for one action. And then for the second action, go ahead and go for the auction on the containers here for stuff to then go into the warehouse. Alright. And that auction is going to start out at... Let's actually break that 5 there. So I had to get a little bit lazy with starting money and just gave everybody a 10. Let's say $3. So they're going to hold on to this tile. And if they still have the high bid when it comes back around, they will get those containers. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of table space for me to work with, so it's going to go over here for now. Alright. And that passes on to this player. They're going to remember what kind of containers they're trying to get. Try to set things up. So they're going to take the approach of building another factory, spending their money to the bank. And they're going to build a blue factory because nobody makes that yet. They're going to break that down and do for their second action, pay the person to their right to produce. Keeping in mind what they want to price things at here. So they'll get a red and blue, and then they can decide to reprice everything. So what can we do here? We can make blue available and make red a little more progressive in its pricing. And then they'll pass on to the next player. Obviously they won't want to produce next turn because they've got that space almost maxed out. They could build another factory and just focus on production. But it's kind of a rough spot. Alright. This player, to remember what they're trying to do here. They're actually going to do the call bank action and outbid this player. So I believe the money goes back Still getting used to this whole offshore island thing, honestly. The opponent bid from the bid tile. So yeah, the money goes back to you. It's not it's not evil bidding of you lose your bid permanently. So they'll do that call bank action. And then buying the extra warehouse for them looks dumb if they were going to do this because this is going to go onto their boats. And yeah. And then they're going to again remember what they're trying to do here. Buy the white container from this player. Go ahead and break that 5. They'll pay their $2 to this player and take that white container and put it here in their 3 slot. And then turn will go to this player. It's got nothing produced. Money to work with. They're gonna see if there's anything to buy. No, not really. Remember what they're trying to do here. What they'll do is they'll spend $6 on a new factory and put that money look at what colors we'll try to go for here. We already have this factory. We need to get a different color. Maybe red? Red's trying to get uppity about their pricing, so maybe step on that. Step on those toes. And spend $1 to the person on the right and produce. We go and underbid that. And maybe make that 3 since it's clear there's some kind of demand for whatever these represent. Alright. So it comes back to this player, and they're not too happy about being outbid, but they have to wonder if it's going to be worth outbidding that other player. If those 2 containers are going to be worth trying to get them off that island. Instead, what they're going to do is continue to think about it. Let's say they want to really keep that bidding war going. Spend their 5, put their 5 up for bid. And then they'll go ahead and sail into this harbor over here that has at least something for sale. They'll spend their $3 to that player and load up that cargo. And turn and pass to orange. Again, try to remember what they're doing here. They will spend the $4 to add to their own warehouses. breaking that 10. And then second action is buy containers for one or more, or one opponent's factories. You have factory purchase. And say, hey, do you got change for a 5? Yes, yes it did. Alright. And storm. Let's see how far we can get. We can go with pricing things to a certain degree. And it goes on to this player. Yeah. Happy to get their money back and then some, but not too happy about losing the bid. Maybe. They can throw in the towel on that auction, or they keep on fighting. Yeah. You know, I put these cards in sleeves because I like to protect my stuff for as long as possible. Sometimes makes things a little bit slippery to hold and stack. That's why I split the money between like 2 stacks. Games with even more cards than this, I'll make like little divider or holders with card stock, like index cards, or just the sheet of paper size. Anyway, what we're gonna do? I mean, we've got stuff. You can force them to take another action just to load stuff in the first place. Or we go jump in on the shipping business. Spend $8. Thereby proving them right that their stupid prices were gonna actually work. $2 and change. Yeah. Cool. And then second action. Go back out to sea and wait to see what happens. Comes back to the pink player. Well, maybe time to start working on you. You know what? Let's do what we need to do. Break that 2. And spend 1 on the player to the right and say, hey, let's produce. Or spend $9 on another factory. Let's produce yellow. Yellow's not really getting produced all that much because they're not picking up the slack. And then spend the $1 and produce. Yeah, white, red, and yellow. I'm gonna price it. We can continue to underprice on that. It's clear white's in demand for now. We'll see what happens later. Alright, that was our 2. Comes back to this player. So that needs to be broken down to 2, 2, and 1. Because they got that auction. and it goes into their holding spot to pick up later, which they're going to do. Action 1, port to ocean. Action 2, ocean to port. Pick up. And then end the turn. Comes back to the orange player. There's nothing at the storehouses to buy. Nothing. They're already pretty well stocked up on their end. Maybe now's a good time to cash them in for the money. So they're going to take these 3 markers here. And note that those are from the factories. Maybe try to get some extra cash out of there. Actually, did we underprice the blue? Underprice the blue. The blue will probably sell to somebody. But we'll take that chance that we can do this with only 2 containers. Alright. And then as a second action, again, there's nowhere to pick stuff up. As a second action, produce, but because of their things being limited the way they are, they can only produce one thing. So they'll produce the blue container because they count as being at 2, 3 the start of their action from doing that bid thing. Let's put that blue there. Go for the best. Alright, and move on to black. Again, nothing to buy. So they're going to take the let's make a warehouse approach. Let's spend $4 on the next warehouse. And spends $6 buying, or yeah, we'll spend $6 and we'll buy them from Pink because Pink's got this nice little. Ooh, not 6, 3. Because I only got those 2 storehouses. You know, for the only game in town for it, maybe price on mid-range. And it's going to go to Pink. Well, now that Pink's got some money to work with, let's sell into port here and spend $7 to pick up those containers. And then as our second action, pay $1 to the player on the right and make more containers. Now that we have space open up again, let's test our look. Let's not get too uppity here. There we go. And it comes back to yellow, or comes back to teal. And they're going to go ahead and sell off and sell into the offshore island and kick off the auction. So, Let's see what they're hoping for here. It's worth quite a bit to pink to try and get this. Unfortunately, their money sucks. So they're going to try to at least make it seem like a challenge for other players. But have other players been paying attention? Think about how close attention you pay to the other players. Black's got the opposite problem. They have a good amount of money, but those containers aren't worth that much to them. But if it means setting up the foundation for hitting their goals later, it might be worth it. They're going to make it seem like they're likely to pick it up. Because they're seeing all those cards and thinking, man, I don't know what's going on here. Either they're bluffing or if they're serious. We'll see what happens. Orange is probably not going to try to bluff because they're going to look at this and think, huh. There's a tie that all I have to do is throw away the yellow. So, looking at that, they're going to break that down. Spend about almost half of what it's worth. Try not to go too crazy with bidding, or you end up giving someone a ton of money. And then everybody reveals their bids. Orange bid 6. Black bid 5. Pink bid 3. So, their choice is to either spend 6 out of their own pocket and put it on their own island, which is honestly kind of tempting. Or get $12 out of the deal. And honestly, at this point, the game is not over yet. Let's go ahead and take that all the way to the bank. Plus another 6 from the bank, 6 from that player. Orange has their first set of containers on their island. And it'll be the end of their turn. As we look at all this nice money. And think, oh, yeah, let's go ahead and consolidate a little bit of it. You know you're messing with the wrong player when they present enough money to say, I need the 20. But then we actually get to the orange player. And they win their containers. Or they win their money. Distributing those there. Get them the $4. Clearing that off. And well, now what are they going to do? They've got $10 to work with. They want to set things up so they can eventually get their set here. Meanwhile, what's everyone else trying to do? Black's waiting for more people to actually make shit. And so is Pink. They're waiting for people to actually buy their stuff, which would open up opportunities for Black to go pick it up and make their auction run. And meanwhile, there's like 6 white containers, 6 red containers. The game will probably be over fairly quickly at this point, as our current factories include a good number of red factories. that these will be run through fairly quickly. And it's just a matter of time. But what would you do differently if you're playing, if you had to go first, or if you were going second? How would you respond to what other players might do? Be curious to see other people's approach to it. Yeah, container. Do try out the expansion stuff and see how that affects things as well. Being able to turn two regular containers into a luxury container to be a wild card has its advantages. Being able to take loans from other people, because now that this player actually has a 10, somebody in less favorable financial straits looking at you, Pink, is probably going to say, hey, I'm going to need a loan here. And they might end up hoping that this player might offer them that chance. Yeah. Container, it's available, it's cheap, it's fun. Play it. Thanks for watching. Look forward to more upcoming tabletop games, including one that will also be featuring Florins. Alright. It's Pillar Nexus, and I'll see you next time.